everyone, it's time for us to go and take a look at the Samsung Galaxy A56 and compare it against the iPhone 15 and see which one is a better phone for you. Now, I will definitely tell you between both these phones, there's a lot of highs, there's maybe a few lows here and there, but we'll see which one is the better one for you for the most part. Number one, if you do want to go ahead and pick up either one of these phones or some other phones that I would recommend buying this year, links will be down in the description below. You can get that from there and you can help support the channel at the exact same time. Now, starting off with the outside of both these phones. The iPhone 15, which came out back in 2023, at the later part of that particular year, on the front side of this phone is going to be giving you basically a pretty decent 6.1-inch Super Retina XDR OLED display. Now, within this type of panel and within this type of device, you're going to have to remember that it is a pretty good looking device for the most part. The dynamic island at the very top can be a little annoying for some people. It's not the biggest deal in the world, but it can be kind of an annoying thing for some people who are trying to go through and pick up that type of device. It's a type of panel where it's not the brightest, but it is a bright panel for the most part. It's not too bad. It's also basically still giving you a 60 Hz display as well, which is a little annoying. Like, I wish we were able to get a higher refresh rate here. We just didn't get that, in this particular phone. But sometimes I wish we did end up getting that because that was kind of an annoying thing. But other than that, it still is like a pretty good looking device. It still gets fairly bright. And I do think if you are going to go through and pick up a phone, this really isn't like that terrible of an option when it kind of comes down to it from that side. So at least from that particular situation, that kind of covers it up there. On top of that, on something like the Galaxy A56, this phone is going to be giving you a 6.7-inch Super AMOLED display. So this thing is giving you 1900 nits of brightness. It's also giving you a 120 Hz display as well. So that already kind of sways this phone into being a little bit of a good device here and there in some cases. That is a really nice thing to basically have inside of this phone, that you're getting both a high refresh rate and you're getting a pretty bright panel as well. Both these panels are pretty much the same when it comes down to it from that side. So I would probably tell you from that particular situation, I am a really big fan of the way these particular phones hold up from that particular side as well. Now, on top of that, when it comes down to their rest of the build qualities, they're both going to be giving you USB Type-C ports at the bottom. So that is always a very nice thing to basically have here. And I love being able to go, through and basically get that from these particular phones. So that right there is a really nice thing. You're also still going to be maintaining a really high, brightness on both these panels and having flat sides on both these phones. The build quality is very, very similar. Another big thing to keep in mind here too is that when you kind of look at both these devices, with something like the Samsung Galaxy, A56, this phone's going to be giving you a standard glass back on the backside. So it's still going to look pretty good. Not really too many issues here, but that is kind of how that one's going to be looking like. The iPhone 15 is going to be giving you a frosted glass back, and I'm way more of a fan of a frosted glass back than this type of like standard glass back when it comes down to it. So and that right there, I think, is another really important thing to kind of keep in mind there from that particular side too. They're both going to be giving you cameras in the top left corner, which we'll talk about in a second. But beyond that, that's kind of what's going on here. There's not really anything else like super insane going on. They're both like really, really good type of phones when it comes down to it, in my personal opinion. When it comes down to the price tag, the iPhone 15 cost about $425 in the used market. The Galaxy A56 cost about $415. So that right there is going to be another important difference to kind of keep in mind there as well, because you are probably going to be getting a little bit of a cheaper phone inside of the Galaxy A56. Not by much, but just by a little bit. So once again, kind of keep that in mind when it comes down to it from that side too, because it'd be nice to be able to go through and be able to get a little bit of a cheaper type of device inside of something like the A56. When it comes down to the cameras, this is also another interesting takeaway. So the iPhone 15 is going to be giving you a dual camera setup, a 48 megapixel wide and then a 12 megapixel ultra wide camera, where the Galaxy A56 has a 50 megapixel wide, 12 megapixel ultra wide, then a 5 megapixel macro lens. Now, both these types of phones, I think, do a really good job from the camera perspective. And I do think that is in and of itself a really interesting thing to kind of keep in mind here, right? Because you would imagine that more cameras would mean better camera. It's not really always the case. Even though the Galaxy A56 is giving you a better, it's giving you more cameras, a phone like the iPhone 15 is actually a way better device here in almost every single way. The main reasoning for this is because with something like the Samsung Galaxy A56, this phone is really only giving you like 4K at 30 on the back and 4K at 30 on the front. The iPhone 15 is giving you both 4K at 60 on the front and the back. That right there is a very big takeaway with that type of device. Now, if I'm about to go through and pick up a phone, I definitely do want to go ahead and have a device that is going to be giving me overall better type of capability from that particular situation. And that is kind of what's going on with something like an iPhone 15. So definitely when it comes down to that side, I feel like you are going to be getting an overall better type of device inside of something like the iPhone 15 than the Samsung Galaxy A56. Now, on top of that, another really important thing to keep in mind here too is that, in my personal opinion, if you're going to go through and get some sort of improvement with software updates, you are still going to be getting a, more improved, better longevity supported phone from neither one of these. I think both of these are going to be supported for roughly around the same amount of time. So you would think by going through and getting some sort of device, maybe like a Samsung Galaxy A56 or an iPhone 15, that there would be like a really big difference if you have some sort of bias towards one. That's not really the case. They're both going to be giving you relatively roughly around the same type of experience here. So I think that's always something really, really important to kind of keep in mind, because really no matter what's going to happen, you're probably going to be getting roughly around the same type of device and same type of performance in terms of software updates from both of these. So I think that right there is a really big thing to keep in mind there too, because if you're wanting the phone that is going to be giving you the longer lasting phone, both these are going to be roughly around the same. So I definitely want you to kind of think about that, because one isn't really going to be outlasting the other one here as far as I can tell. On top of that, when it comes down to its performance, the iPhone 15 is going to be giving you that Apple A16 Bionic chip inside of it with 6GB of RAM, where the Galaxy A56 is giving you that Exynos 1580 chipset inside with 6, 8, or 12 gigs of RAM. So if you are wanting the phone that is going to be giving you an overall better type of experience, it definitely makes a lot more sense from what I can see to kind of think about something like the iPhone 15 in some cases being the faster phone. On the flip side, when you look at the Galaxy A56, you do have a model and an option where you could spec out that particular model at basically the 12 gig of RAM option. So that could be a very fast phone too, like that has the very high potential of being a very, very fast device. But for some people out there, that might not even be needed. And some people might want a faster chipset than more RAM. Because you can, just because you have the faster chipset doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be giving you a better overall experience. So it is a very interesting thing to kind of think about. From what I can tell you though, in my personal opinion, I definitely do think both these phones are very, very decent. These are both very decent devices, and if you're going to go through and pick one of these things up, it does make a lot of sense to go and find the one that works the best one for you. I do think, in my personal opinion, if I had to pick up one, I do like the Galaxy A56 for giving me a high refresh rate panel, but I feel like the iPhone 15 still gives you a little bit more capability when it comes down to it. Like, that phone is giving you wireless charging, it's giving you a faster chipset, and I feel like the camera on that phone is going to be way better than the camera on the Galaxy A56. So from that particular side, that kind of covers it up here for the most part. If you have any other thoughts or questions, please let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.